For the benefit of our foreign visitors, Shahid raised several points, so I won't cover all of them. One is the issue of backhaul and how do you actually get backhaul, and what is the most feasible way of backhaul, and what he's saying is that what Mr. Ravi Shankar said, fiber is perhaps the best solution, and wireless for the last mile. He also has major issues with various government regulations. So when you put up a mast, there's a certain limitation on how high that mast can be over a rooftop level. They put one up 32 meters high. They could not go more than 5 meters. They have laws in application. It's been in the process for a year now. System's up and running, but there's been no response from the relevant government agency on whether they can run this or not. So technically, he's running it illegally, I would say. Well.
There is less technical challenges, but more legal.
Yeah, yes, or more policy-related challenges. Then the other issue he has is that to set up a rural ISP, there's a certain funding mechanism he needs, and it's about $50,000 roughly. For a rural community, that's really not affordable. They will not get an ROI on that. I mean, particularly when you look at the sort of revenue you will get out of these rural connections. So that's also an issue. There should be some form of rural ISP type of licensing mechanism available where those sort of networks can operate without having to pay that large fees for getting that license. You wanted to add something, yeah?
I would just like to add to what Shahid said, and this for Mr. Ravi Shankar also. We have been reading that, now we'll have BBNL, which will become the ISP for delivery of the bandwidth also. Probably the solution will come from there. You see, when we talk of the last meter, not even the last mile could be on fiber or the media converters. But at the last meter, we got the radio, and probably the virtual internet service provider will get born when we reach the village panchayat. And that is where you'll have to fill the CAFs. So the business is very securitized because the WISP will take care of the AAA server in that village. And the WISP will also have the comfort of a government body having been tied up with the Department of Education or the Department of Health, which will be one of the customers. So all the authentication will be based on the e-governance data which will be available. And second point which you mentioned that, how are you going to run the business? You are very secure as a village level entrepreneur because you are investing in the last mile infrastructure. So wherever you're not getting that access, I will just suggest that go and explore the cable TV player. Probably is already tied up on a franchisee model with the caps like Hathways and In Cables, they're doing it today. Probably they're doing it in the metros, that's why it's not into Chanderi and Guna. But in the cities, we already see that the franchisees have got a cluster of 200 customers, and they are complying to the DOT guidelines of the CAFs and the WPC and KYC norms. So I think so it'll get unlocked in a one year period or so. I'm very sure of that. About a 1 year period. That's what I'll say.
So I'd just like to now bring in Professor Jain. So Professor, you've heard technical issues, policy issues, regulatory issues, spectrum issues, business model issues, and so on and so forth. So I'd just like to call upon you to just share some of your thoughts, since you do run the Telecom Center of Excellence at IIMA, and then we'll go to Viresh and then to the video. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We have been, working with Ford Foundation and some of the organizations that they are supporting in penetrating internet into the rural areas. And I think the points that Mr. Shahid made are really very valid. Our field visits have authenticated those as well. Now, I will just raise a few issues, because the ones that have not been raised already, because some have already been raised and no need to repeat them. The issue about, this IT Act 2008 and what is preventing him from taking ownership of the content. And I think that's a very important part. IT Act 2008 में एक क्लॉज है इंटरमीडियरी लाइबिलिटी, आई थिंक आप उसी को रेफर कर रहे थे, कि उसके अंदर जो कंटेंट जो भी आप कुछ पेस्ट करते हैं इंटरनेट के ऊपर, तो उसकी लाइबिलिटी किसके ऊपर है. तो ये इश्यूज अभी केस फैक्ट्स आएंगे, केस लॉज आएंगी, तब बनेंगे. पर तब तक इन लोगों के पास उतनी वो नहीं होगा रिसोर्सेज कि वो अपने टाइम टेक्निक वो इंटरनेट स्प्रेड करने में लगाएं कि कोर्ट के चक्कर लगाएं. आई थिंक दैट इज तो
उससे ज़्यादा उसको रूल्स को
अंडरस्टैंड, उसको पढ़ना भी होता है. और ये बहुत ही मुश्किल, एंड इवन जो एजुकेटेड लोग हैं और जो बहुत इस एरिया में काम करते हैं, उनको ही रूल्स पढ़ के समझना मुश्किल होता है, तो इट इज़ डिफिकल्ट. सेकेंड, and again for Mr. Ravi Shankar, BBNL, a very good thing. It's a national infrastructure, going up to the village and everything. But my concern is, see, because there has to be some involvement of entities outside the government in it, at the level of the organization structure and decision making, because I believe the private sector entrepreneurs are driving the growth, economic growth in India. It is not that the government is not doing anything. We need to work with the government in a large country, and especially if we are a developing country, we need a lot of support from the government. But we also need to recognize that government has its strengths, but they can only be unlocked many times when private sector comes in. And when I say private sector, it does not mean that they come in without any responsibility, that they only come in to make profit. I also mean that if you have people outside the government helping you to take some of those decisions, then it is much faster and more efficient. And communities, NGOs, their concerns can get reflected in the way when you make decisions in BBNL. And I hope that somewhere in the future we will be looking at those kind of issues. We need to do the BBNL much faster, I think, because of the kind of structure we have. It obviously can lead to certain delays, and we need to recognize that. Web hosting, see, internet, today on the intranet you can make all those websites, and people, I know बच्चे लोग भी बना लेते हैं website, but more important is कि आपको जब उसको इंटरनेट पे होस्ट करने जाएंगे तो उसकी कॉस्ट क्या है और उसकी कॉस्ट कैसे रिड्यूस कर सकते हैं, और आपका इंटरनेट साइट दूसरा गांव वाला भी एक्सेस कर सके एट अ लो कॉस्ट, दैट्स इम्पॉर्टेंट. और वो बात आपने जो कही कि जो टावर नहीं शेयर कर सकते या शेयर, और इवन द कॉस्ट ऑफ बैंडविड्थ, डोमेस्टिक बैंडविड्थ टुडे इज सो हाई कि आपका ISP, आई मीन अगर आप बन भी गए, अगर इवन इफ दैट फी इज वेव्ड और आप बन भी जाएँ, तो तब भी आपको कॉस्ट ऑफ दैट बैंडविड्थ आपको लेनी पड़ेगी ना टू कम हियर. तो वो बैंडविड्थ की कॉस्ट, हाउ डू वी मेक दैट अ पार्ट ऑफ द USOF, and how can USOF support that at least for rural areas? I know the larger issue is to be dealt with by DOT and try to see how the domestic bandwidth prices, today they are much higher than even international bandwidth prices. Why is that so? I think we need to understand that. Second is, even what we have delicensed and what we have unlicensed, we need to go far ahead. Just to say India is at par or just a little below par, today India has to be ahead, because that's the only way we will be able to get, and we must not look at only the 2.4 and 5.8. There are many other bands, or ISM bands also you said, but there are many other bands that need to be delicensed before the technology is there, looking at what is happening elsewhere and where technology is going, so that we are ready with those devices and we are ready with those infrastructure equipment that we need for it to be in place. So for me, that was a learning, but and I think a kind of dissemination about all these efforts, what are the problems you face, what are the problems he faces on the ground. I think there's some mechanism to resolve them, not because these are personal problems of Shahid or DEF or Aura, but because these problems are replicated everywhere. So can we have some kind of a review of what problems they are facing and try and address them from that point of view? Thank you.
Thank you. So I'll very quickly ask Viresh to share his brief comment before we hear from the other side of the table.
Yeah, it's comment about the SACFA issue that Shahid has raised. As per the rules and procedure, the SACFA is to be granted, and it's a body who has to take the clearances from other ministries also, and the procedures are involved, and it.
No, let me just, can I intervene after he is done? See, my thing is, if we take all rules as given, then we will stay where we are. So why can't we have a rule which says that, okay, these are the existing users, if they do not respond back within 15 days, permission is taken.
No,
Videsh,
ma'am,
Videsh,
on that,
yeah.
Maheshwari can correct me. On the SACFA front, he can remember the olden days and nowadays there is a huge change, and there is lot of there is a demand and requirement of change every time. That's the process. But still, it is great change. In older days, SACFA used to be a unbreaking nut kind of a issue. Now it becomes so simple. Kind of a category 740 criteria, all these kind of criteria, various clearances has taken place. How it's in lakhs of SACFA clearances. These are the numbers. So that's not the case. Ki SACFA is not happening or not being given. So it's simplified a lot. But for the individual cases, there are the procedures that one has to be operator, or one has to be licensee, such and such kind of licensee. So those regulatory issues came up, and these are to be seen in the respective perspective by the concerned wing within the government to how to go about it further. That's the
No,
only
this is not the only single case.
Once again, I just want to remind Videsh of one particular thing. In 2001, if you look at the minutes of the SACFA meetings, okay, there was a particular meeting which was chaired by Mr. Shyamal Ghosh, at that time the telecom secretary and also the chairman of SACFA, where it was minuted that if any agency does not revert back within 60 days from the date of circulation of the application, it should be taken as deemed approval. Now, if that was the decision taken and minuted by SACFA body, and it was a full meeting, by the way, on 13th floor in 2001, then all that we are saying is just please implement it. That's it. We are not saying even change the rules. That's the first thing. Second thing is something else. Within the rules, I know that there have been some simplification, and of course the numbers, you are right, that now it's gone to lakhs. When I started the SACFA process in 2001, the total number of the SACFA clearances in the countries were less than 10,000 that time. But there's something else. Why should a person in Delhi, suppose you are applying in Delhi or maybe in Jhumri-Talaiya or wherever.
You can also apply online.
No, one second. If you have a location which is quite far off from a coastal area, why should that application be circulated to the Department of Lighthouse and Lightships? Absolutely no use. They've got no relevance of that examination, but still, one, as an applicant, you are made to do it. So you go and submit it to them. Secondly, coastal area, Bombay I can understand, Chennai I can understand, Kolkata I can understand, but somebody who is putting in Delhi, Lighthouse Department जाने का क्या फायदा है?
Yes. SACFA.
Shahid, only 1 minute, huh? Because
Okay.
yeah.
SACFA भी इतना इजी नहीं है. SACFA के लिए जो आप जब अप्लाई करते हैं तो उनके जो रूल्स हैं उनके अकॉर्डिंगली आपका एयरपोर्ट 7.1 किलोमीटर्स के अंदर नहीं आना चाहिए, वरना आप जाएंगे उस अथॉरिटी. मैंने नेटवर्क भी वैसे ही बनाया कि ये सिंगल विंडो से क्लियरेंस हो जाए. पिछले 8 महीने से वो ऑनलाइन अप्लाई के बाद वो पड़ा हुआ है वैसे ही. और ये एक केस नहीं है. और ये 5.8 कम्युनिटी के लिए डी लाइसेंस किया गया था. सारे के सारे आईएसपी यूज कर रहे हैं. आप सर्च कर लीजिए और आपको दिल्ली में दिखा दूं और जहां देखना चाहें आप देख लीजिए, सारे आईएसपी यूज कर रहे हैं 5.8.
Yeah, the D-license does not say X, Y, or Z
Okay, no
company.
problem. So we can get the clearance.
It is just transparent D-license with given parameters.
Okay.
So nobody can say that yes, he can use or she cannot.
No problem. I don't have any problem, but I need the clearance within the certain time of period. We cannot wait for the 5 year, 10 years and 20 years. There should be certain norms.
Yeah.
After क्या कहते हैं this period, क्या कहते हैं you can क्या कहते हैं get the automatically SACFA clearances.
That's one. But I'm not much aware of the SACFA issue. But in the SACFA also, the application, online application is to be followed up with the hard copy of the application with the fees. No, Mr. Maheshwari. Now the circulation is need not to be done nowadays. In the older days, it was to be done, I believe. So that is not the case. You mentioned that it's to be circulated to XYZ. In the certain category, it is to be circulated 3 or 4 only, if I'm not wrong. So the circulation business is no more there. It is to be applied online with the supported by hard copy and the requisite fees. That's the process as of now. Thank you.
Okay, so
Yeah,
Ravina, just very quickly, and then
I just want to mention, since Rekha, you brought up the issue of not limiting ourselves to just kind of, trailing along what the world has said, 2 bands unlicensed, so we are at par, but also looking at some of the new ways of, delicensing white space and using white space for rural broadband. And this is something that we've been working with IIT Mumbai to conceive of pilot, perhaps, in doing that in the outskirts of Mumbai and Pune. And hopefully that will also be a good model for increasing the outreach of different technologies to the rural areas. So I just wanted to put that in the mix because we haven't really actually addressed that.
okay, so we'll go to the video now, and after that, I'd invite our friends from the field to also speak.
Is Guna, one of the most backward districts of India. Guna falls and leads its position on all parameters of underdevelopment. Guna has major tribal population of Bhil and Saharia communities, including some of the denotified tribes. There is widespread poverty, illiteracy, and lack of education.
जो मुंडी मदरसा संचालित है वो लगभग गुना शहर से 3 किलोमीटर दूर है। हमारे गांव में कंप्यूटर एक भी नहीं है। गुना के लिए आधा किलोमीटर की अगर कोई दूरी हो जाए तो वो दूरी ही माना जाता है।
Living in the far and much remote regions of Guna, internet connectivity and awareness for people was still a far cry. Despite the number of growing technologies, many of the communities, especially tribals and those who lived in the remotest region of the country, suffered from non-availability of access to information and access to any kind of media.
वैसे तो कंप्यूटर का युग चल रहा है सर, हर चीज ऑनलाइन हो गई है, तो हम चाहते हैं कि बच्चे भी ऑनलाइन हर काम ऑनलाइन करें, ताकि आगे चल के उनको कोई दिक्कत ना आए।
Until Wireless for Communities stepped in and played a vital role in shaping lives of local communities by providing affordable services and applications.
यहाँ हम रिमोट एरियाज में कनेक्टिविटी दे रहे हैं, जो कि BSNL और एयरटेल तक
To the modern world, where everyone knows their internet rights and is aware enough to practice their rights and live for a better tomorrow.
Okay, so that just showed us basically something that's happened in a particular locality and the sort of impact that it has provided. तो मैं आप चाहूँगा कि हमारे जो दोस्त
बहस कर रहे थे यहाँ पे, तो कई चीज़ें हमारे सिर से ऊपर निकल रही थी, लेकिन कुछ चीज़ें मैं रखना चाहता हूँ। जब हम डीएफ के संपर्क में आए थे और ये जो पूरा एक कॉन्सेप्ट हमको वायरलेस नेटवर्किंग का और वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग का पता लगा, तो इतना मैं ये बताना चाहता हूँ कि मैं राजस्थान के बाना ज़िले में शहरी आदिवासियों के बीच में काम कर रहा हूँ, और आज से 10 साल पहले आप वहाँ से भूख से मरने की खबरें सुनते रहे होंगे। उसी इलाके में हम लोग काम कर रहे हैं। तो जब ये हमारे कांटेक्ट में आए और हम बेसिकली एजुकेशन के ऊपर काम कर रहे हैं वहाँ पे, तो ये जो पूरा का पूरा टेक्नोलॉजी है उसका सब जानते हैं कि कितना इसका उपयोग है और कैसे हम बहुत जल्दी से लोगों को जीवन बदलने में मदद कर सकते हैं। तो जब ये पूरा कॉन्सेप्ट डीएफ के साथ, शाहिद के साथ डिस्कस हुआ, तो मुझे लगा कि कैसे भी करके हमको इसको करना चाहिए। हमने टुकड़े टुकड़े इकट्ठे करके लोहे के उनके वहाँ पे वो बनाए टावर, 6, 7, 8 टावर बनाए शुरू में हमने, और सब जगह खड़े किए। जब इन्होंने बताया इतना इतना हाइट चाहिए, ये चाहिए, वो चाहिए, हमको तो ना इन कानूनों का पता है ना टेक्नोलॉजी का बहुत ज़्यादा पता है, लेकिन इसके माध्यम से हम कैसे जीवन को बदलने में कामयाब हो सकते हैं ये ज़रूर बात समझ में आती है। तो हमने उसको करने का पूरा कोशिश किया और अल्टीमेटली हमने 8 सेंटर वहाँ पे अब तक एस्टेब्लिश किए हैं जो आपस में वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग से भी जुड़े हुए हैं और वायरलेस नेटवर्क से भी जुड़े हुए हैं, और हमने एक टेलीमेडिसिन का प्रोग्राम भी वहाँ पे शुरू किया है। प्रॉब्लम ये है कि मैं जब लास्ट ईयर भी यहाँ मंथन अवार्ड में आया था और आपका मैंने स्पीच सुना था वहाँ पे कि हम हर पंचायत तक कनेक्टिविटी को लेके जाएंगे, ब्रॉडबैंड को लेके जाएंगे, लेकिन आई एम वेरी सॉरी टू से कि अभी भी कनेक्टिविटी इतनी पुअर है वहाँ पे, आती है जाती है, आती है जाती है, 2-2 3-3 दिन तक नहीं आती है, मरीज आके बैठा है, डॉक्टर से कांटेक्ट नहीं हो पा रहा है। तो अभी तो हमने इतना भी अचीव नहीं किया है कि हम उस कनेक्टिविटी को वहाँ तक पहुँचा पाए। तो ये जो सारा डिस्कशन है, इसमें ये कहूँगा कि ये जो पूरी जो अनलाइसेंसिंग की अपन लोग बात कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे अभी, और जो ये जो प्रोजेक्ट्स को क्लियर करने की बात है, इसमें कानून को बदलने की बात है, हमको बहुत तेज़ी से जाना चाहिए, क्योंकि हमारा जो ग्रामीण इलाका है उसमें बहुत दिक्कतें हैं। इस टेक्नोलॉजी से हम उसको बहुत बदल सकते हैं, ये हमने करके देखा है वहाँ पे। ये बात मैं रखना चाहता हूँ। थैंक यू।
So just a very quick summary for our visitors again. What the gentleman has said is that there are so many bureaucratic hurdles that we need to pass to get these systems in place. If we can fast track that, the fact is that this is making an improvement to people's lives. That should be our objective, not the red tape and the bureaucracy of how high a tower should be, how long an application should take, and so on and so forth. Because the need is right now, not tomorrow, not 5 years down the track. और कोई कुछ कहना चाहेगा?
Hi, my name is Jazbe. Actually, whatever I had to say, my name is Jazbe Hassan Razvi, and I'm looking after all the networks that we have established in, with Ford Foundation. So whatever I had to ask, Mr. Shahid Ahmed have summed up all the things. One more thing I would like to add to it is, even if I collaborate with someone like Railtel, everything, all my control goes to it. I'm not going to control. So.
The Railtel model actually is one of the most mature model, and you know why I'm telling this is because when we got into this model, we understood what technology was. We also understood what the ISP was doing, and as Shahid mentioned, we also knew what was under the carpet as business, because most of the villages, it was like this only, that you buy 4 MB of bandwidth from say XYZ ISP, and you just go about distribute. So when I went to villages and I checked that where is the CAF, where is the KYC, the guys didn't have it. It was like XYZ Internet Services Private Limited. So some of the guys, I told them that, you know, you're doing something wrong, and sometime the law will come and catch you, so the whole business will collapse. In the Railtel model, up to the AAA, which is, you know, the data center at Bangalore, all the control based on the key know your customer information resides with them. The whole model is prepaid. So you as a village level entrepreneur collect the money from your customers. There's a prepaid billing settlement methodology where every week money gets credited to your account. Last mile access is invested by you as a village level entrepreneur. So you are in total control of your customer. He's giving you the compliances, the KYCs and the DOT guidelines on a table. You don't even have to worry, because if there's a query which is coming from the government that, you know, this IP breached some of the guidelines of DOT, Railwire takes care at their knock, because they've got a AAA. I hope you understand. Authorization, authentication and accounting, all are the responsibility of the ISP. So you are like a virtual internet service provider, and it's totally legal, because each customer who comes in, he fills up the CAF, and till the time the proof of address, the identity card and the photo ID is not approved, his connection does not get activated. So it's a very long-term sustainable model, and there we are saying that, like you are saying that we are going on fiber or connectivity is poor. The cable TV guys, believe me, have cracked the model, because if you look at the service level, they are better than even the operator's SLA. You will not see an outage of cable TV in your house, and you will not tolerate it. So that's as good as it could be. So be assured, you can get back to me and I can explain you in detail. It's a good model.
No, really this is the good model. There is no doubt, because we cannot maintain the AAA compliances. You are working in the rural area, there is no such kind of the data center. You cannot maintain the database. So it's better to tie up with such kind of the business model, and you can grow.
E-health and e-education are hosted on their data
Yes.
center, so automatically you get that value chain. And customer service is the more important thing, and last mile connectivity. You can invest in the so you focus on the customer relation and the quality of service. Who manages the government and the compliances and regulation and the SACPA. So that is taken care by the ISP.
और कोई? Any other questions? From our audience, anyone has any questions? किसी को कुछ पूछना है? कुछ? No? Okay, everyone knows? Yeah.
One thing to say. Viresh, first of all, it would be great to have WPC's URL. Right now, WPC website is accessible only in terms of IP address, not even through a URL. Okay, that's one thing. Second thing is, this whole list of notifications, it is embedded so deep, and I've been dealing with WPC for almost 15 years. It's so difficult to even locate where those notifications are actually, they are in the public domain, but extremely difficult to locate that. That's the second thing. So in fact, a couple of years back, DEF did something that they had sort of volunteered and had downloaded these, given them the URLs, they downloaded those and put up on their own website, but it would be great to have them directly from WPC. In a third thing is, right now most of the notifications are only titled in a very arcane manner. For example, it says GSR 643, something like that, okay? Instead of that, so this is good to have, of course, the GSR number and the date, but also have what is it about? Because otherwise having these 36 odd notifications, opening each and every and trying to see कि अच्छा ये कौन सा notification किस लिए, maybe I am interested only in 2.4 and there are 3 notifications in that. One of 2003 which is about indoor, then 2004 24th August which is about contagious and in campus, and then of course the outdoor one. Okay, so it's happened in 3 ways. But if that's how it is available, at least read what it is. Otherwise, first of all, it's very difficult to locate where it is, and even after you locate, it's extremely difficult to make out any useful use of it. Although everything is in the public domain, I'm not denying that.
Yeah. Let me ask. Mr. Deepak, presently the WPC domain address is www.wpc.dot.gov.in. I daily access that name, it's available. It's not only the IP address, one point. The availability of notification is very much there. On the left hand side, you go the rules and regulations, subordinate rules, and the complete list of, I believe 32, 33 notifications have been listed out. It's given by the GSR name, the subject of that GSR, and the date. It's some, if not all the cases, in some cases mention the frequency also in the list. So that way it is accessible. And now as per the government policy, the websites are also getting renovated, and its WPC website is also getting renovated. I hope that in the new website, its better way it will come in.
Just have a small suggestion, Viresh. Yeah. It would be great to have just a simple table that okay, these bands for such and such purposes have been delicensed. Of course, you could have all the legal disclaimers, perfectly fine, but just have one simple table somewhere that okay, these bands for such and such purposes have been delicensed. That's all. That itself will be a great service to users.
Because when you say delicense, it's linked as to be there. Otherwise, it's.
No, I'm not denying that. I'm just saying tabulate them at one place.
It can be seen. It can be seen.
Okay, so we've had some suggestions which are, to my mind, largely administrative in nature rather than anything else. Yeah, sure. No, not yet. We have about 30 odd minutes left. We're going to play another video. I'm not sure whether they've got that with them or not. In case we don't, what I would actually like to see is, where to from here. I don't want this to be just a discussion of, we had a session, we talked, बातचीत की, अच्छा चलो चलते हैं, अगले साल फिर मिलेंगे. ये नहीं चाहिए ना. So what will be an outcome from this? It's being videoed. We'll extract all the discussions out of this. But वो paper भी कुछ होना चाहिए कि हम किसी को दिखा सकते हैं कि सर हमने ये बातचीत किया है और ये करना है. You just pause it for a while, please.
Within a short time span, can
pause it.
difference.
I'd like to, get to more substantive, recommendations, suggestions, bullet points. I've got one of my staff members here who's helping me take notes as well. So, we want something to take away from this session. So thank you for that, and the video now, and then we'll come back to the discussion.